the mysterious Dedf1sh, formerly an up-and-coming DJ. She stumbled upon the subterranean test facility and was sanitized. Though few of her memories remain, her beats still echo throughout the facility.
Dedf1sh, real name Ahato Mizuta, was a promising DJ. She was very devoted to her craft and spent long hours making music. She was doing fairly well and was gaining a significant following, but then, out of the blue, she disappeared, without a trace. In her pursuit of music, she went deep underground, ending up in the deep sea metro. Down there, Dedf1sh found something that caught her interest. A new technology created by Commander Tartar, called sanitation. In its most basic form, sanitation is mind control, similar to how DJ Octavio uses music to keep his minions loyal. But sanitation is a little different. While Octavio still allows his minions to have their own personalities and interests, sanitation, used by Kamaboko for the test in Deep Sea Metro, leaves the victim void of all emotion, memories, free will, and, as Marina speculates, seemingly void of life. Essentially, they lose their identity, their ability to think for themselves, and anything else that makes them who they are. Which makes it quite odd that Dedf1sh would want anything to do with this. Yet, she was willing enough to go through with the process. Not completely, but partially. But why? After the sanitation, Dedf1sh was but a shell of her former self, a living husk of what once was. She may not have been fully sanitized, but she had little left of herself. Why would she want this? Why did she want to become sanitized? Apparently, in her pursuit of music, she wanted to become sanitized to fully devote herself to music. All her doubts and issues with production must have been catching up with her. The pressure being put on her might have been just a little too high for her. She probably wanted to lose all that anxiety and doubt so she could fully devote herself to music. No distractions, no problems, nothing getting in the way. Now all she does is make music. No free time, few memories of what she once was. Just music. Music that may hold more than what first meets the eye, or ear in this case. Dedf1sh's songs are ordered 1 through 19, and they are supposed to represent what you feel when you get sanitized. This is to warn the next test subjects of Deep Sea Metro for what is to come. But you may notice looking through the songs that some numbers are missing. Specifically, the ones numbered 3, 7, 10, 15, 17, and 18. Perhaps he made these songs but forgot them due to the effects of sanitation. Or maybe Dedf1sh forgot how to count. Or maybe they have been made, but we just don't hear them in the game. Maybe these songs are playing elsewhere, or we can't hear them. If this is the case, maybe we can see more of Dedf1sh once Splatoon 3 comes out. But for now, we can only speculate on why these 6 are missing. If Dedf1sh's music represents what it feels like when you get sanitized, then what can we learn from Dedf1sh's songs about the sanitization process? We already know a bit about sanitization from what has been told to us. Sanitization involves some form of ink. Commander Tartar is covered in this ink when we battle him, and so is Agent Free when she goes rogue. But what more can we learn about the sanitization process? The songs themselves could be a clue. So with that, let's get to analyzing some music. First up is number 0, Cell. Cell sounds very empty, almost like one of those no thoughts, head empty music compilations. It isn't happy or sad or mad, it's just kind of there. Dedf1sh probably felt very empty during this stage as she loses a part of herself, leaving her feeling like a shell of her former self. Next up is number 1, Progress. Progress sounds much more upbeat than the last song, and somewhat hopeful. It's fast-paced and is vastly different from the last song. Maybe after the first step of the sanitization process, Dedf1sh began losing all her doubts regarding music production, and she felt like a burden was finally being lifted off of her. Next is number 2, Ripped. Ripped has a more intense feel, and sounds a bit darker. It's the first of these songs to have lyrics in it, although that doesn't really help us, since it's all just gibberish to us. It has a much stranger feel. Based on the title and the dark feel of the song, I would say that Dedf1sh felt as though she was being teared apart in this stage. Her memory is fading, along with her personality and anything else that made her who she is. Although, as dark as the song feels, it doesn't seem like Dedf1sh is in any pain or dread during this stage, almost as if she's still okay with what's happening to her. We now skip number 3 to go to number 4, Dino. Another song that has that no thoughts, head empty vibe. But this one has a bit more to it. It feels more upbeat than Shell, but not as upbeat as Progress. At this point, Dedf1sh might not know how to feel as she slowly fades away. Or maybe she doesn't know what happened to her in the stage, due to sanitization. Number 5 is up next, with the title being Thirsty. It sounds much more upbeat and fast-paced like Progress. It also sounds very hopeful again, as if Dedf1sh is getting what she wanted from the sanitization, as her doubts and conflicts as an artist continue to fade. The title of the song feels out of place, unless it's saying she's thirsty to be more sanitized. But unless sanitization is some sort of a drink, which it most certainly isn't, I'm not sure how that relates. Number 6, Frisk. This song is a lot weirder than the rest. Dedf1sh is using some interesting sounds in the song. It's still quite upbeat, but has a weird undertone to it. Maybe Dedf1sh is starting to feel weird in this stage? Like she isn't herself anymore. Number 8, Regret. This song is sad, slow, and as the title states, regretful. I think at this stage, Dedf1sh is finally starting to realize what sanitization is doing to her. Perhaps at this point, she feels regret towards being sanitized. She realizes what she has lost, and she will never get it back. There are no do-overs. There are no second chances. This is it. This is the choice she made, and she has to live with it now. Number 9, Party. It feels somewhat darker again, but much more upbeat. Maybe Dedf1sh is accepting what has happened and is looking at the bright side. Imagine all the music she can produce now. I don't really get what she has to party for in this stage when you think about how the last song is probably about her realizing her fault in doing this to herself in the first place. But hey, so she just gotta party. Number 11, Above. This song feels much more hopeful than the others do. This feels like maybe Dedf1sh has hope for what is to come. If we put the title into consideration, maybe after being trapped underground, she is starting to look at the surface for a means to get out of here and leave this place. Back to the surface above, where she once made music. Maybe she planned to go back up and make more music for the people up above. Maybe she was even a test subject of Commander Tartar and was attempting the missions to get back to the surface. Number 12, Awake. This song feels slow and sad, but somehow a little hopeful. Maybe she wasn't fully awake during the previous stages of the sanitization process, and now she is hit with another wave of regret. Maybe that little bit of hope is her feeling that now she can express her music better. But at what cost? Her very identity is fading from her. Is this what she wanted? To be but a shade of her former self? There's still some left of her, but is it enough? Number 13, Shade. Probably the darkest out of the songs. It feels menacing and tense. This is also the second song to contain lyrics. This feels like Dedf1sh is almost a little mad about her situation now. Her lyrics sound as if she is threatening someone. Maybe Dedf1sh feels mad at herself for going through the sanitization process. Or maybe she is mad at someone else, thus explaining the threatening nature of the song. Number 14, Crush. This song feels upbeat again, and probably the happiest out of all of them. Once again, this song contains lyrics, but this time an array of voices from many different characters are used. While this song feels fairly happy, there are some dark undertones to it once again. The chorus of the song sounds almost hypnotic, with a cast of people singing at the same time. At this point, maybe Dedf1sh feels a bit happy that she can do what she wanted, realize what it cost for her to get it. Maybe the song represents the mind control that she feels as an effect of sanitization. Altogether, this is a very strange song, and it sticks out to me amongst the rest, which gives me the idea that maybe something important is happening on the stage. Number 16, Salty. This song screams boss music. Very dark, menacing, and intense. Maybe at this point, Dedf1sh feels a wide range of emotions regarding what is happening to her. Maybe she feels a little happy at what she got from this, but mad at what happened to her as a result. It's hard to tell exactly what is going on with her in this stage. There's a lot going on with the music, and the title doesn't seem to be of much help. Finally, number 19, Bless. This song feels hopeful and maybe even grateful. This is the fourth song to contain lyrics as well. Music almost feels angelic. Maybe Dedf1sh feels relief with the sanitization being over now. Maybe she's just happy with her decision to become sanitized. Maybe the benefits she received from sanitization outweigh the price she paid to obtain this. So that's all the music we have from Dedf1sh, apart from the Splat Attack remix played when you fight Agent Free at the end of Octo Expansion. Although, these are just my personal theories on what she may be trying to express to us in her music. It's honestly quite hard to tell. After all, we're trying to understand a very complex process, simply through music. But for all these pieces, one stands out to me. Number 14, Crush. There is something to the song that I can't explain. It feels so happy and upbeat to the start, but quickly takes a turn into the more mysterious. The chorus especially takes me off guard. Personally, I think there's more to this track than meets the eye, but that could just be me. In any case, now it's time to get into some theories. I have a couple of theories regarding the sanitization process that takes place to Dedf1sh during these songs. First off, if we consider regret to be about the regret she felt after the sanitization process, does that mean all the songs following regret are about what she felt after sanitization? If so, why is she so cheery in some of these songs? Directly after regret, the song Party is played. What does she have to party for after being hit with such regret and sadness? Maybe Party is about accepting her decision and moving on from the regret, and beginning to warn others about sanitization in her music. All in all, this theory is decent, but it falls apart in places. The next theory I have is the reason the music differs so much from dark and sad to cheery and upbeat is perhaps because of the mind control taking effect. Maybe after regret, the mind control kicks in and makes her view what is happening to her in a more positive light, at least for a short time. I speculated earlier in the video that number 14 could be regarding mind control in some way due to the seemingly hypnotic nature of the song. But if that is true, does that mean that this stage is the first time Dedf1sh is being mind controlled? The last theory I have is a bit of a curveball. It doesn't line up with the other two theories no matter how you may look at it. If we are to look at number 0, Shell, as being what Dedf1sh felt after the sanitization process, like a shell of herself, then maybe all the other songs about what she was feeling after the sanitization concluded. In some concept art, we can see a flutter sprinkling what appears to be some sort of sanitized ink on their victim. This would make sense with my theory, because if sanitization is really all that quick, I don't think many songs would be written purely about the process. But like I said earlier, these songs are supposed to represent what it feels when you get sanitized. If only number 0 is about sanitization itself, then that feels a bit misleading. Plus, Agent Free was able to withstand the sanitized ink and come out of it just fine. It definitely feels like it should be a much longer process, though it's hard to say how long. It could be minutes, hours, days, months. It's impossible to say for sure. Although I do feel like at some point the song switched from being about the sanitization itself to being about what you feel afterwards. But this is essentially all we have on Dedf1sh for now. We can theorize all we want, but there's so little to look at. There's not much more we can say on this character. More information is needed to say anything for certain, and with that, we must look onward, to Splatoon 3, and hope we get more about this mysterious character. So many more questions, but so little to go off of. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.